Today, doing an interview with Carolee. She moved from California to Columbia, South Carolina, and she bought a house sight unseen. And so we are going to hear how was that experience for her and what kind of things she recommends for you if you are planning to buy a home here in the state of South Carolina or for any other state for that matter, and learn from her experience. So welcome, Carolee. All right, so today we're going to interview Carolee. Carolee bought a house sight unseen, and we want to hear about her experience doing that. So welcome, Carolee. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing great. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. All right, so my very first question for Carolee is, what inspired you to move from California to Columbia, South Carolina?
I think the timing was right for us now because our son moved here several months before, and we just wanted to be closer. We only have one son, and we wanted to be closer to him in our elder years, and we just wanted to try something new and be closer.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. All right, Carolee, so my next question is, what is it that convinced you to buy this particular house?
Well, we looked at a lot of houses. My poor realtor, we drove her around town and drove her crazy, I think, but we liked the area. My son was our real help in finding things because he knew exactly what I was looking for. He knew what we liked in the past, and he knew what we liked living in, and he knew how we liked to live. And we looked at, well, I should say they looked at several houses with the realtor, who we were very lucky to find because she had patience beyond belief. And she showed up and showed them, he and his wife, properties for us. And he liked a couple she didn't like, so we just let them have the bad time picking it out. But when it came to this particular house, it seemed to have everything that we were looking for. And even though it's a larger home than we were actually looking for, it's very well suited to what pleasures we get out of living out here. So that was the reason we just fell in love with it.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. All right. So what helped you the most in making this decision?
What helped the most was having a realtor that knew exactly what we were doing. She understood where we were coming from. She understood that I didn't want a fixer-upper. And she was very, very easy to deal with, even if I rode her around town like crazy. I mean, every time they saw something, she was right there trying to help us. And we really, really appreciated that effort that she put in.
Okay, that's great. Well, thank you. Now, what advice will you give to other buyers in your situation?
Well, I think you have to really get with somebody that you really feel comfortable with. You can't just feel that you're wasting their time. If you walk in a house and you really don't get a good feel for it, don't buy it, because you're always going to regret that. And even though it may take a little more effort, I think it's worth it to see several homes, and I don't remember exactly how many we looked at, and put offers in on, and waited for sellers to make up their mind, and waited for other buyers to change their mind. So it was a little bit stressful, but it was very good in the end because we got exactly what we wanted.
Are you happy with your decision, or do you have any regrets?
No, I don't have any regrets at all. We love it here. My husband loves it here, and it's only 30 minutes from our son, and the neighborhood is beautiful, and that's what we were looking for. And I have to say, this neighborhood coming from the desert is totally different from everything we've ever lived in. Mm-hmm. And this is just beyond belief that we could find something like this.
What do you think is the most important part of the process when buying a house sight unseen?
Well, I think the most important process, number one, is always have somebody do a walkthrough and check it out. You need a plumber, and you need maybe not so much a landscaper, because that's pretty much something you can do anytime. But you do need a plumber, and you do need to know the association, because you can get into a real bad deal with associations. And I say that only because I was in real estate for 20 years, and you don't want to live at something for a long time if you're going to have problems with people. So I think that just getting a more personal attachment, and you know, I think that's a good thing.
Now, what was your biggest fear about presenting an offer without seeing the house?
I would never have done it if I hadn't had my kids looking at it for me.
Okay.
I trusted them, and they knew what I liked and what I wouldn't like. And even though there were some issues, the first house we picked was a beautiful older home, but we found out there were a lot of problems with it, which I would never have seen.
Yeah.
So it's always good to have somebody that you entirely respect. Doesn't necessarily have to be your family, but you need to find somebody that will represent you as well as the home. And without my realtor, she was on top of everything. I mean, she was on top of it before I was. So I had no problem picking something because I knew that she would lead us in the right direction.
Oh, thank you. So I was just curious because I do remember that when we put offers in it, your son couldn't see the house right away, but we have put the offer without him seeing it. Basically, you made your decision on everything that you saw online, right?
Right, but I realized that we would still have a walkthrough, and I realized if there was anything really bad, I wouldn't have bought it.
Okay.
And so I felt somewhat comfortable. A couple things still exist, you know, that some people can always say, well, I should have maybe looked around a little bit, but you can't second guess that because there's always going to be something in a house that's been lived in.
Yeah.
It's just how bad it is and how bad you want to get it fixed.
So my last question, and I couldn't help it, I have to ask, how was your experience working with me as your real estate agent?
Well, she was great, and you were great. I mean, and you want me to correct that?
No.
Oh. my agent was great, and she probably thought I was a real pain in the neck, but because I asked a lot of questions and I second guessed a lot of things because that's a lot of money to spend. Yeah. And when you're moving all this way out here, you don't want to walk into something that you really are going to have a heart attack over before you get it fixed. You know, it's one of those things that you have to have a lot of faith in who you're working with, and I had total faith in her, and she never once led us astray. If she saw something that she thought we needed to know about, she was telling me about it instead of waiting for me to find it out. And I mean, there's things in this house that I didn't know about, but eventually it all got taken care of and it'll be fine. And you know, there's nothing too big to take care of.
And just for the record, you never was a pain for me. You never were a pain for me. I
should have been.
Never. It was actually a great pleasure to work with you.
Thank you.
And when I finally got to meet you in person, to be honest with you, I was a little shocked, you know, because a lot of people in their senior years will not take this risk. So,
I know.
Right?
I know.
So I was just thinking, wow, if Carolee can do it, so could you. So if you want to buy sight unseen, let me know.
Yeah, and I feel like when you buy sight unseen, it is smart for you to have your agent get a checkup of the house by a contractor, get a checkup on the plumbing, especially if it's a real older house, and the important things like that. And that doesn't take much because you're actually turning your personal ideas into a professional who will tell you the truth. They're going to put their name on a paper and you have to believe what they say. So, you know, that's going to help you a lot. You don't want to walk into a big old hornet's nest and have a lot of things wrong. So you just have to really get to know your agent and trust them and know that they work with good people.
Well, thank you so much, Carolee. I really appreciate
You're
your
welcome.
time.
You're welcome.
And this opportunity, and may the Lord bless you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you for watching. And now you know what you need to do. There is also a video that I made talking about how to buy a house out of state. So make sure you click here if you want to watch that video. Thank you.